Welcome back, children. Today we'll start a new lesson, that is lesson number 4, working with queries. Okay, so in today's session we'll be learning about a query, how to create a query, and specifying a simple criteria and a multiple criteria in a query window. So let us begin. Now the first question is, what is a query? So in simple term, we may call query as asking a question. Okay, so in general, a query is like a simple question that one asks to find a specific information from our database. Now let me give you one example. Say in our school database, every students, they have a record stored in a database. Okay, now sometimes the administration, they may want to retrieve your information from a database. Now see, among those 4,000 to 5,000 students, most of the children, they may be having the same name, they may be having the same title. Okay, so in this case, using a query, specifying the query to access your record is very important, and query will quickly access the data from a database. So we will be learning later on how to use this query, how to specify the criteria. And second important point is, queries are made on tables and the results are displayed in the form of a table with all sets of record that match the given condition or that match the given criteria. Now, how to create a query? There are two different ways that you can create a query in Access. One is by using a query wizard, and the next one is by using a query design. So today I am going to show you how to create a query using a query design. Okay. Now you can see here I have created a simple table here with the name teachers. Okay, and the name of my database is teachers database. Now in this table, I have used 5 field names. One is teach ID, that is teacher's ID, teacher's name, gender, subject, and the level where they are teaching. So by now, you are very much familiar with the table. You know how to design the table in Access and how to enter the records in a datasheet view. Means you know how to switch between the design view and a datasheet view. Okay, so I'm going to work on this table to show you how to work with the criteria using a query window. So to create a query, first we need to go to the create tab. Okay, just click on the create tab. If you see on the right hand side, we call this as a other group. So inside the other group, you can see the query wizard as well as query design. So you can use any of this button to create a query. So I'll start with the query design. So let me click on the query design. So once I click on the query design, you can see a show table dialog box appears here. Okay, and in this show table dialog box, it contains the table that I'm going to work on, and the name of the table is teachers. Okay, now what you need to do is, you have to select the table from this show table dialog box on which you would like to run the query. So select the table, click on add. Now you can see that the selected table has appeared as a small window in the upper section of the query design. Now simply click on the close button of the show table dialog box. Okay, now you can see that the query window consists of 2 parts. This is the upper part that contains the table that I am going to work, and we call this as a design grid. Okay, so you can also call this upper part as a object relationship pane. Now what you need to do is, you have to insert all the field name inside the design grid. Okay, so there are 2 different ways that you can insert all the given field name inside a design grid. First is drag and drop. So you can just click the mouse button here, drag it, and simply you can drop it. You can see that the field has appeared here. Or what you can also do is you can simply double click. Okay, so let me double click in this field name. You can see it has appeared in the second column. So either you can double click or you can just drag and drop it into the proper column. So now you can see that I have added all the field, that is teach ID, teacher's name, gender, subject and level. Okay, now, before showing you how to run the query using the criteria, let us understand the design grid. Okay, the first row we call this as a field row, and it contains the field of the table, that is a teach ID, teacher's name, gender, subject and label. The second row, table, it contains the name of the table. So the name of my table is teachers. So you can see that in each and every column, just beneath the field name, it is showing me the name of a table. The third one is sort, means either you can sort the data in ascending order or a descending order. Then the fourth row shows the show button here. This show means whether you want to show or whether you want to hide the field name while running the query. Okay, suppose say if you don't want to show the teach ID, or you may also don't want to show the subject while running the query, so you can simply deselect it, and once we run the query, what will happen? This teach ID and the subject will get hidden. So if you want to show it, again just select it. While running the query, all this field name will appear. Okay, so for this purpose we use the show row. The last one, or the second last one, is the very important one, the criteria. So criteria means the condition that we have to specify to run the query. Okay, and the last one is or. Sometimes you may want to specify the multiple criteria. So when you want to specify the multiple criteria, we have to use this row, that is or row. And if you want to specify a simple criteria, we can use this row, that is a criteria row. Okay, so now let us start with specifying with a simple criteria. Now let me go back to my teachers table first. So see here, let me show you once again. So I have created a 9 record for the teachers. These are the name of the teachers, these are the gender for the teachers, these are the subject they are teaching. Okay, and these are the level at which they are teaching. Now I want to go back to my query window. So how to go back to my query window? You can simply click on this query button next to the teachers table. Okay, click on the query. Now we are again back to the design query window. Now first let me specify the criteria. Suppose say I just want to see those teachers that are teaching science. So what I need to do is I will simply write here SCIENCE, science. Now what will happen is it will show me only the list of those teachers that teach science. Now I need to run the query. So how to run the query? To run the query, you have to click on the design tab here. Click on the design tab. Now under the results group, we call this as a results group, you can see a run button here. So you have to click on the run button to run the query. So let me click on the run button. Now you can see here, it is showing me only 2 teachers who are teaching science. One is in the secondary level and another is in the primary level. Okay, now let me go back to my query window. So now if you want to go back to your query window, right click on this query window button. Okay, from the drop down menu, go and click on design view. So once you click on the design view, you are back to the query window. Now say I just want to see the teachers who is teaching in a middle level. So let me write down middle here. Okay, and again run the query by clicking on the run button. Now again see here, there is no teachers who are teaching science in the middle level. Okay, now let me go back to my query window once again. Now if I write your primary, suppose say, or a secondary, 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 so what it will show me is It will show me the teacher who is teaching in the secondary memory. Okay, so we call this as a criteria. Criteria means the condition you have to put, accordingly it will show the results that you want to highlight, and the rest of the record will get hidden. Okay, so this is quite similar to a filtering option, the filter that we have used. But what happens in the filter is, in filter you can use only one criteria, but in query we can use as many criteria as we want. Okay, now let me delete both of these. Okay, now let me see the teachers, those who are teaching maths. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to hide the teacher's ID. So what I'm doing now, I am deselecting this checkbox. You can see that I have deselected the checkbox. Now once I run the query, you will not see this field, that is teacher's ID field. Okay, so I again run the query. So here you can see it has, my field has started with the teacher's name, because I have deselected the show option for the teacher's ID, so it has been hidden. Now you can see there are 3 teachers who are teaching maths. 1 in the primary level, 1 and 2 in the middle level. Now what I am going to check is, I am going to see the teachers who is teaching in a middle level and he is a male teacher. Okay, so let me go back to the query again by right clicking and clicking on the design view. So I'll go to the gender option here and let me type here male. Okay, now again run the query. So now it is showing me only one record. Okay, that is Manoj Sangvi, who is a male teacher teaching maths in a middle school. So in this way, giving a condition, specifying a criteria, we can get a proper record that we want. Okay, now let me again go back to design view. Let me click on this checkbox so that I want to show the teach ID once again. Okay, now let me remove the male teacher here. So what it will show, again it will show me the list of maths teachers who are teaching maths in different level. Okay, now how to use a multiple criteria. Suppose if you want to use the multiple criteria, you have to go on the OR field. So just below the maths, what I just want to see is, I want to see the teachers, those who are teaching English. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, see here, I have typed English under the OR criteria, means I'm using a multiple criteria here. Means I want to see the subject teachers who are teaching not only maths but English as well. Now go and click on the run button here. Now you can see along with the maths, it is also showing me the list of teachers who are teaching English. Okay, now I just want to see female teachers, okay, who is teaching in a primary section. So let me go back to the design view once again. Now see, under the OR section, now I am not going into the criteria, I am going into the OR row. Under the gender, in the OR row, I am writing here as a female. So what it is going to do is, it will hide the male teacher, those who is teaching the English, and see, it is showing me only the female teacher who is teaching English in a primary section. Okay, now see, this is just an example that I have used from the 9 record. So as I've already said, in your school they contain a huge data. The database of the school contains a huge data of say 4,000 to 5,000 students. So using a criteria, okay, in a query, they can quickly retrieve your records. Okay, for this purpose we use a criteria. Now finally, how to save the query? So click on the query window. Okay, you can click on the save button here and give the name for the query. So let me give a name as a teachers query. Click on OK. Now you can see on the left hand side, the upper one is my teachers table. Okay, so it will show the table in a datasheet view, and the one that is below, this is a query, so it will show me the query. Okay, so in this way we can specify the query. We can specify the criteria, whether it is a simple criteria or a multiple criteria. Okay, children, so in this session you have learned how to create a query using the design view, how to insert the table from a show table dialog box to the object relationship pane. I have showed you how to run the query and specify the simple criteria and a multiple criteria. So this is all in today's class. Thank you, children.